Rev up your engines! Alright, if you watched me any length of time, you know I said don't buy those little bitty turbocharged GDI engines. Here's a total case in point. The 2017 Ford, it's got the 1.5 liter EcoBoost. So it's a tiny little engine. It has gasoline direct injection and a turbocharger. And what happened at around 60,000 miles? The engine blew up. Yeah, that's all that this engine lasted. 60,000 miles. And then put what's called a short block on. The block was ruined, so they put a new block in. They used the head over. It was about a $7,700 bill. He got it back immediately. It ran worse. Now, at least it ran, because it blew and didn't work at all. But before, he was getting 30 miles a gallon, and when he's driving uphill, he does a lot of uphill, downhill. He lives high and he works low. He was getting 30 miles a gallon then. Now he's lucky to get 23. So obviously, they didn't fix the thing right in the first place. The original problem is, it's a relatively decent sized SUV, but it's got this tiny little engine in it, and it's turbocharged. And as I said over and over again, these things just don't hold up over time. It's bad enough when you see the ones that have the V6 engine that's got the turbocharged unit, GDI EcoBoost engines with Ford. They had all those problems with the water pumps being chain driven. Then they break, then the engine's destroyed. This is a different design, because it's only a 4-cylinder engine, but at the same time, the engine only lasted 60,000 miles and blew up. It's still running like crap, so let's see why. It's time for intelligent diagnosis. Figured that out fast? Realize this thing's only got 76,000 miles, and it's 60-something thousand. It had to have the engine replaced. And problems with the body control module. We'll see if anything else is showing up. The PCM system. Let's start with the PCM. Active grill shutter performance stuck off. These things are so insane. They have a grill here that electronically opens and closes, so you don't get too much drag when you don't need it, and then it opens when you need more air to cool the engine. Yes, I know it's a ridiculous idea, isn't it, to get like 1/100th of a mile better gas mileage. That system, at least it's open. That means the car's not going to overheat, so we don't care about that. Let's look at the BCMI. Anti-theft key, right position lamp, left position lamp. Again, that has nothing to do with the running of the car, so we'll check the next one. Tailgate. Again, the tailgate has nothing to do with gas mileage, so we're going to go into live data here. 349 things to look at, so let's start looking. Now you can see the camshaft is moving somewhat. The degrees are changing. Look at that. 0, 12, 6. Here, the cylinder number 1, it has some knocks, and so does cylinder number 4. Cylinder number 2 and 3 don't, but cylinder number 1 and 3 have knocking. Assuming when they put the engine back together, they didn't put it together perfectly. They did what's called the short block. They put a new engine block in, but they reused the heads and the cams over. Not such a smart thing, really. And you can hear a little rattle. Hear that little rattle? That's not a normal rattle. That is an abnormal sound coming from the engine that supposedly they had rebuilt correctly. And then he got it back and it got worse gas mileage than it did before they rebuilt it. So obviously they screwed something up. The exhaust gas oxygen sensor on bank 1, sensor 1, it's way off. Look, it's in the red, then it's in the blue. Exhaust gas oxygen sensor current changing. See, when it gets into the red, that's bad. It's only supposed to be minus 25 to 25, and it's going way over 25, and it's bouncing all over the place. So, at a minimum, you'd hope changing that sensor did it, and it's not an engine failure problem that causes those data to go up and down because it's not firing correctly. After all, this is a gasoline direct injection, turbocharged car, Ford EcoBoost, that had the bottom end of the engine replaced and used the older parts over. There are a zillion things that can go wrong with these complex systems. Pump's working, the valued pressure is pretty close to the actual pressure. So we know the running problem is not an injector problem. Going through the transmission data, so far that's all good. For sure those clowns didn't put the engine together correctly. Now, here's the insane thing. When they did the engine, put the new block in, used the heads over, they reused the timing belt, even though he told them, put a new one on, I'll pay for it, because the warranty didn't pay for a new belt, because it wasn't broken, right? So then they had to take it apart again, and they said they put a new timing belt on. Who knows if they did or they didn't? But if they did put a new one on, guess what? They put it on wrong. And that's why his gas mileage is lower, because before he was getting better gas mileage at the old engine, at least until it blew up, and this one gets worse gas mileage, because if your ignition timing is not correct, you're going to get running problems. Now, this is a very complex car with all this GDI fuel injection and supercomputers, and it can compensate for things a lot. But every once in a while, he gets in this thing and he drives up a hill, it starts shaking like mad because the timing is so far off. You're always going to get a problem when you have timing, when you're going uphill accelerating, especially up mountains. He goes down like 4,000 feet. So going back up 4,000 feet, it's going to show up because the timing is not correct. And of course, it's a modern car. It doesn't have a distributor where you can reset the timing. Besides, it's bouncing all over the place. That means the timing belt wasn't put on right. According to all data, it's about a $1,200 job. Now, this was warranty work. Here's their bill. They claimed that they replaced the timing belt and they charged nothing. You can see the big zeros. But as I said, he got worse gas mileage when he got it back because, of course, the timing is not correct. They didn't do the job correctly. And anyways, what kind of an idiot would replace the bottom of an engine and leave the top? If the bottom broke, the top was certainly soon behind to break, and they didn't even change the timing belt because they said it wasn't broken, we'll use it over. They stretched, right? It had 60,000 miles, but they did do it over, or they said they did it over with this bill. Who knows if they actually did do it over? I have no idea. But it doesn't run right because the job wasn't done right. Now, he's got a friend that has the same exact vehicle, and they're doing the same thing. They have had his car for 60 days to replace the engine because it cracked just like his did. It's the same vehicle, of course, the same crappy 1.5 liter engine. 60 days later, he still doesn't have his car back. You can build an engine in 15 hours, right? Taking it apart and fixing part of it, that doesn't cut the mustard. Obviously, they don't care. They're not interested in doing the job. And you can see, they did this job. They didn't do the timing belt right. You can see it's wrong. That's why he gets bad gas mileage. It does run. You know, it runs, but sometimes it runs horrendously, and the gas mileage is down. And when we went back to the dealer, the service writer, she put her hand there and said, oh, that's how I run like that. That's how they run. Well, they didn't listen to their own customers. He knows the gas mileage was getting, and the gas mileage is down. And from the data you saw with me, the timing's moving around, and the knock sensor for the 2 cylinders was tripping, that it has knocked. Now, it didn't trip a code, because realize codes only get tripped if it's more than 25% off. Well, let me tell you, when your car is running even 12, 13% off, you're gonna feel it. But it won't trip or check engine code until it gets 25% or more, when it's really running horrible. I think they deliberately do that so they can say, well, the check engine light's not, no, there's nothing wrong with the car. It's nonsense. You can feel it. There is a problem with this car, and they obviously didn't fix it under warranty. So what have we learned today? Certainly don't buy a 1.5 liter Ford EcoBoost engine. Ridiculous idea in the first place. Even though they replaced the block, they didn't put it together correctly. The ignition timing is not correct. So even if you have warranties for this stuff, guess what? They probably won't fix it right. This was the second try. The first try was even worse because they didn't put a new timing belt. They used the old one. And of course, his friend has the same vehicle. 60 days, they're still working on it. You know, they're dragging their rear ends when they spend 60 days to fix a car. They're just letting it sit. They just really aren't interested, and that's why you don't want to get involved with these 1.5 liter turbocharged GDI engines, because basically they're garbage. And here's some bonus questions and answers. 21 says, I got a 2009 Honda Civic LX with computer failure. I drove home from work. It wouldn't go over 40 miles an hour, and it said P606 error with computer. Dealer uploaded new software and said it was fine. Later again, they replaced the PCM. Luckily, we bought a warranty. 2 days later, it happened again. Waited a few hours, now it won't even start. Here's the problem. As I've been telling people for ages, as time goes on, the dealerships pay their mechanics less and less. The quality of the mechanics there gets worse and worse, and they come to a point where many of them are merely parts replacers. They're not mechanics or technicians anymore. They just replace parts. When you get an error with a PCM, often it means because the computer has been damaged. But understand one thing. Computers get damaged generally for a reason. It's extremely rare for a Honda Civic computer to go bad. But if you have a problem in the wiring harness or any of the sensors that feed the computer, there's no fuses between the sensors and the wiring going to the computer. So if you got a sensor that's shorting out, that can ruin the computer. All these clowns did was first they reprogrammed it and said it's fixed. Well, obviously that didn't fix it, right? Then they put a new computer and it ran for a little while, and now it's broken again. Obviously there's a short somewhere in the wiring or in one of the sensors that feeds the computer, and they didn't fix it because, like I said, they're just parts replacers. First they tried to reprogram it. I could have told you that wasn't going to fix anything on a Honda. I've never seen one that needed reprogramming unless they had worked onto it. And then they replaced it. They're not even checking it out because, like I say, these guys have turned into parts replacers. They're going to have to check the whole car. They're going to have to find what problem in the wiring harness. You bought the warranty. Let them fix it and say, you're not paying another penny. You didn't diagnose it right. Scotty said, hey, you replaced the computer, it broke again because something shorted it out and your guy didn't fix it. That's on you, not on me. fix it. Of course, good luck. They might not have anybody good enough to figure out what's wrong with it there anymore, because a lot of them are just young guys out of school, and they're taught to be parts replacers, and they just start throwing parts and everything because, of course, the dealership loves it. The more parts they put on, the more money they make selling you the parts. Sad but true. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.